Very, very, very brief introduction, and then we'll flesh this out in greater detail. All right, I'm going to go to now YouTube, do a search for Theology Central. Test 1, 2, 3. All right, I'm going to go to now YouTube. Okay, I got rid of that. And we'll get started here in just a second. Maybe. All right, we're going to see what we can do here. Okay, I got rid of that. And we'll get started here in... There's notification. All right, we'll get started here in just a second. I have something I need to do at the top of the hour. I know I'm not going to get this done in 15 minutes, but hey, I'll do the best I can, and we'll make the most of this, all right? So, because I feel like if I don't do it now, I'm not going to be able to do it later. Maybe I'll want to do it later, maybe not. Maybe I'll do another broadcast at 5 o'clock in the morning. Who knows? All right, we'll get started here in just a second. All right, just give it a couple of minutes here. And then we will get started. We'll give it just a couple of seconds here. Yeah, I need to get started here, so let's do this. Ladies and gentlemen, hang on, let me find the article. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we go live. Hang on. I got my article right here. That's just fake sound effects because the article's actually on the iPad, but that's okay. We go live in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Looking at our world from a theological perspective, this is the Theology Central Podcast, making theology central.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is Sunday, August the 24th, 2025. It is currently 5:46 p.m. Central Time, and I'm coming to you live from the Theology Central studio located right here in Abilene, Texas. Now, about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, I was kind of just like, what do I do? Do I broadcast? Oh, there's something I want to do at the top of the hour. What do I do? I kind of was debating back and forth. Do I wait and want to have more time? Or do I just turn on the microphone and kind of introduce this to everyone? And then maybe it will lead to maybe an entire week-long a week's worth of discussion. I don't know. I don't really have it all mapped out, but here I am. And I think the best way to do this is not even tell you what sparked all of this right now. It's to just start asking some very important questions. All right. Are you ready? Let me ask this. What is the best way to teach wisdom? What is the best way to teach wisdom? Is there a specific method? How should wisdom be taught? What is the best way? How should it be taught? And is there agreement amongst humans on the way wisdom should be taught? Like, you may say, well, I think wisdom should be taught this way. Someone else may say wisdom should be taught on this way. And if humans can't even agree on which is the best way to teach wisdom, then is there even a best way? Is there the best way to teach wisdom? Here's a question. Can wisdom actually be taught? Can you actually teach wisdom, or can you only teach principles, ideas, concepts, but that will impart knowledge, but you cannot actually teach wisdom? In other words, can you teach information? Can you give people knowledge? There's just no way. It's impossible to actually impart wisdom to someone. So What is the best method? And then is it even possible to teach wisdom? Can you do so? Now, I know every parent likes to think, I'm teaching my kids wisdom. Every pastor likes to stand behind the pulpit. I'm teaching my congregation wisdom. But can it really be taught? Here's another question. Human beings have been around for a while, and human beings have been trying to teach wisdom generation after generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. And here we are, August the 24th, 2025. Look at the world. After all that humans have attempted to do, are people wise? Is wisdom commonplace after all the thousands of years of human effort to impart wisdom? Are people more wise today, or are they less wise? And why is it wisdom the norm? Why is it that the thing would be, oh, that person isn't wise? That's an anomaly, because everyone should be wise, because humans have been trying to impart wisdom forever. So if not everyone is wise, then that would either mean our methods don't work, or maybe it means we can't actually impart wisdom, and maybe it means wisdom is more dependent upon the person, quote unquote, who's being taught than it does on the method or who is doing the teaching. Oh, those are some important questions. Oh, here's the big one. Can humans teach wisdom better than artificial intelligence? Who would be the better teacher in teaching wisdom? Humans or artificial intelligence? Now, I know, especially within the Christian crowd, you're going to be like, humans, pro-humans, humans. But I would argue humans have had the entirety of human history, and I don't think they've done a very good job. Some humans would go so far to say AI cannot teach wisdom, it should not teach wisdom, and we should not hand over the teaching of wisdom to artificial intelligence. It is wrong, and we should not do it. And I would argue, you've had your opportunity. Sit down, be quiet. Humans, you've been around for a long time. Look at where we are in 2025. Look at the insanity, the way people think, the lack of logic and reason, the lack of wisdom. Everyone believes crazy conspiracy theories. It's just insanity. No. I will argue, hey, humans, you gave it you gave it your best. You gave it the old college try. You failed. Sit down. I think I'm going to hand it over to artificial intelligence. I am on team AI. I say it all the time. I'm on team AI. Oh, I know people don't like that, and they will get mad at me, but that's fine. Just tell me why humans have not been able to figure it out. Now, I could argue maybe no one can actually teach wisdom. You can only teach information. Wisdom is something else. Now, I ask all of these questions on this Sunday afternoon because I just want to briefly point you to an article. I want everyone to go read it. And then we're going to be talking about this, and I'm going to give you just kind of a brief kind of idea of where I am going. The article can be found at thegospelcoalition.org. Thegospelcoalition.org. It was published on August the 20th, 2025. And if you think that's the actual article, you're out of your mind, because I don't print anything out. It's on my iPad, but I can't make any sound effects with that. thegospelcoalition.org, 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 the Gospel Coalition is all run together, thegospelcoalition.org, and look for an article entitled, "Don't Hand Education Over to AI." Don't you dare. Do not handle education over to AI. Don't do it. It's bad. And I'm going to argue, humans have been handling education for a long time. How many different times do people pull up statistics saying the public schools are failing education, kids can't read, kids can't think, kids can't do math, kids can't do science? Look, and don't say homeschooling is the answer. I've known homeschool kids who could barely read and think themselves. They couldn't think themselves out of a barn with a map. Okay, and it's not because I'm blaming homeschooling. I'm just saying education. There's failure in education in every system and in every method. And why? Because how much of it is dependent on who's doing the teaching and how the teaching is being done, and how much is dependent upon the individual being taught. It's not so black and white, because you can blame the teacher, you can blame the method, but sometimes it's the person sitting there in the desk who just refuses to learn and doesn't care to learn and doesn't want to learn. Same thing can happen in a church. The pastor can be the best preacher in the world, but if the people in the pew don't want to do the work, they don't want to do Bible study methods, they don't want to learn hermeneutics, they just refuse, well, then you can't teach them. Education is much more complicated than I think people want it to be. Everyone just thinks just here's the way to do it. It's never that simple. And then you've got different learning styles. Not everyone learns the same way. So there's never a one size fits all. I mean, that's so complicated. But to say don't hand education over to AI, I'd be like, why? You trying to protect your job? Why? Why can't AI do what you can do? Because you know what teachers do? They take information and then they present it. Guess what AI can do? AI has access to the entirety of human knowledge, basically, and can present it. I can ask AI to present me daily lessons on wisdom, daily lessons on this. I can ask AI to do a million things. The more education I have in how to utilize AI, then the better I can use it. But I do it all the time. Hey, give me each day this, or give me each day this, and I ask for specific things. It can give me lessons. There's a chat bot that does the Socratic method, and it will just each day it will give you a subject and start going back and forth asking you questions in a Socratic method way. Well, the Socratic method has been argued throughout history to be one of the best ways to teach and impart wisdom. AI can do that. And it can do it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't have to go to a classroom. I don't have to pay. I just pay the monthly subscription for my AI chatbot, and that's it. So I don't understand it. Don't hand education over to AI. Don't do it. It's bad. Yeah, and trust the teachers. Yeah, because teachers never get it wrong. Teachers are infallible sources of information. Here's how the article begins. For nearly 3 decades, I've worked in Christian education, leading schools in Boston, Missouri, Illinois. Increasingly, I'm fielding questions about the place of technology in K through 12 schooling. The questions often presuppose that technology is beneficial. How will my children master the new technology they'll need in a fast-moving world? Won't they fall behind if they're not using AI in kindergarten? Don't we need to equip them with screens and tablets? How else will they succeed? And how will they be successful in a good college or find a good job? As a Christian educator, let me share a few principles that can help us think wisely about technology. Now, I love that. This person is going to tell me what they think is how I should think wisely. Based off what? Why is this person's idea of how to think wisely the wise way to think? They're giving me their perspective. They determine that the way they think is wise. So they're like, hey, this is how you should think wisely, and you should think wisely by agreeing with me. But why do I have to agree with you to be wise? Because who determines what's the wise way to think when it comes to education and technology? Who gets to make that determination? Which immediately demonstrates that wisdom in many cases is defined by the individual teaching what they think is to be wise. I'm teaching it this way. This is wisdom. Well, according to whom? 15 other people over there think that your wisdom is foolishness, and you think their wisdom is foolishness. Who gets to determine what is wise? So the article just cracks me up right there. Here's how you should think wisely about technology. According to the infallible source, and his name is Tom Stoner. Tom Stoner is the infallible source of how to think wisely about technology. But who made him the pope of wise thinking about technology? Now, his first point is technology can be used judiciously to find knowledge, but not to teach wisdom. So we need to use technology in a judicious way, but to simply find knowledge, but it cannot teach wisdom. Technology cannot teach wisdom according to Tom Stoner. But Tom Stoner can teach wisdom because he just writes an article saying this is how you are to think wisely about wisdom. So to think wisely about technology is to accept Tom Stoner's presupposition that technology cannot impart wisdom. No, wait a minute. According to whom? So wisdom about technology is what Tom Stoner says it is. And according to him, technology should be used judiciously, according to him, and to find knowledge, but it cannot teach wisdom. Don't use it to teach wisdom. And my argument is why? Well, maybe technology can teach wisdom better than people. The article goes on. It's possible that AI can be used as a tool to help children become wise. But if it can, it'll be used by parents and teachers who were themselves formed through a time-tested process of education, a prerequisite for helping others do the same. Now, there's a lot of assumptions here. He's saying now he's saying it's possibly possible that AI can be used as a tool to help children become wise. But if it can, well, ultimately it's because it's being used by parents and teachers who themselves were formed through a time-tested process of education. So there's a time-tested process of education. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, there's a time-tested process. And if everyone would use that process, then everyone will be wise. And well, something has gone wrong. And that this time-tested process is the prerequisite for you to be able to then use AI so that AI can then teach others. So really what he's saying is AI can do something, but AI can only do something if it's controlled by people who were educated through this time-tested process. The time-tested process is really the thing everyone needs, not AI. Because even if AI can do it, it can only do it if it's led by people who has met the approved process that Tom Stoner thinks is the approved process. But who made him the Pope of what is the approved process? It goes on to say AI in the hands of a school-aged child is like sitting a 10-year-old in an Indy car and asking him to steer the track. His feet may reach the gas pedal, but there are lots of ways it can end badly. The most common wreckage results from using AI like a souped-up version of Cliff Notes and a fraudulent shortcut to genuine learning. Oh, I know, because there's never been shortcuts to genuine learning, ever. I say, let me think of some shortcuts used in education that I've witnessed in my life. Oh yeah, Cliff Notes. Oh, wait. Watch the movie. Don't read the book. Oh, wait. Find someone else who's read the book, tell you about the book, and then you build your paper about the book on what someone else told you in regards about the book. You see, what else? You see, paying other people to write your paper. Oh, that's never cheating. Okay. Like literally just straight up cheating. I don't know. Memorize a bunch of facts so that you can regurgitate it on your test, pass the test, look smart. But in reality, you couldn't explain anything you just passed the test on. There's never been any shortcuts. AI. Technology is the problem. No, human beings want shortcuts. Why do human beings want shortcuts? Because in many cases, human beings don't actually want knowledge. They want what knowledge will give them, meaning I need the diploma. So if I have to have knowledge enough to get the diploma, then I'll get the diploma. I'll get the degree because I'm trying to get a job. Do people pursue knowledge for the sake of knowledge, or do they pursue it for a purpose? Well, in many cases, they'll take any shortcuts to get the thing that says they have the knowledge so they can use that to get what they want. AI is a souped-up version of Cliff Notes. That's how you perceive AI, is just a souped-up version of Cliff Notes? Man, I see so much of what Christians say about AI just makes me want to just scream. If that's what you think AI is, then you're not the expert on anything, in my opinion. This individual goes on to say, early in my career, I watched the arrival of computers. Oh, no! Okay. Schools across the country, including mine, scrambled to ensure we got devices into every child's hands. We added computer classes to teach students how to pull down menus and create PowerPoint presentations, lest they be left behind in a rapidly changing world. This was a mistake. Now, was it? Was it a mistake? Now, according to him, it's a mistake. But is he the one who gets to determine if it's a mistake or not a mistake? I will argue that there was a time, because I went through school. Now, there were some computer classes. I never got to be a part of one for whatever reason. And I don't even know what they were actually teaching. It wasn't much of anything. It was kind of there and it was gone. It was, because high school just is only 4 years. I didn't get a chance to take it. All right. So then I had no idea I was stepping into a world where technology was going to be taking over. And then the next thing you know, there's this thing called the internet. And the next thing you know, I'm walking into a world when I get my first duty assignment in the United States military. Next thing you know, I've got to use, what's this system called? I got to use these computers. I had no idea what to do. I had to try to learn. Now, slowly but surely, I learned more and learned more and learned more and learned more. And then the next thing you know, then we have and slowly but surely, I started getting better and better at it. But I was not near prepared. Well, where are you going to go now where you're not using some level of technology? So you're telling me kids learning how to do these things was a bad thing? When they were getting ready to walk into a world where computers and technology is literally everywhere? I don't know how that can be a mistake. Let's see why he says it's a mistake. We were duped into believing that the priority of education was the transfer of knowledge rather than the genuine formation of minds and hearts. Oh, so education is not about the imparting of knowledge. It's about the formation of minds and hearts. Now, okay, who gets to do the formation of minds and hearts? Now, I know you don't want the public school to do the formation of minds and hearts, because if the public school is doing the formation of minds and hearts, unless you're going to tell the public school they can only do the formation of minds and heart, that confirms or conforms to your idea of what they... No, that's just not going to work. So I guess what you're going to say is, we need to pull the kids out of the public school system, put them in a Christian school so that the Christian school can form their hearts and minds according to, what you think it should be formulated to, and be formed to. But I don't know. Does it work that way? Can you truly form the heart? Or can you form the mind with information? Whether that information ever gets to the heart is, that nobody knows how to make that happen, because if it does, then you should just be able to pull a kid aside, teach them this, and fix it. But my understanding is the kid you're teaching has a heart that's deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, and that the knowledge doesn't necessarily change the heart. In fact, the heart never truly changes because the heart is always sinful. So right there, I don't even know if this is following a theological perspective. Today, my classical Christian school in the suburbs of Chicago uses no screens in the elementary grades and limits access to laptops for research and writing during the middle school years. The difference is remarkable. Now, all of this is just anecdotal. There's no statistical information given here. Who did the study? When was the study conducted? Our priority is inspiring students to wonder about the world God made while capturing a vision for their place in it. They love learning, do they? So all the kids at this school love learning. Isn't that amazing? They all love it. They all love it. I need to go to this school in Chicago and find all these kids that love learning, because I'd like to get them away from the school and their parents and say, "Now, come on, really?" They read widely. All these kids read widely. And they think deeply about ideas, and they write and speak well. I've yet to see how any form of digital technology can genuinely help children learn such skills. Technology can't help kids do this. Humans can. Humans can teach kids to read. Humans can, not technology. But wait, if humans can simply do this, then why don't you just do that for every kid in Chicago? And then Chicago should be the beacon of an educational excellence. Do we need to look up how Illinois is in their ranking in education? Where does the state of Illinois rank in education? All right, Illinois education ranking vary by source, but recent data shows it performs well in specific categories such as college readiness and higher education, while placing lower in overall state education rankings for specific metrics like high school graduation rates. For instance, a 2025 report ranked Illinois 15th for public education, but a separate ranking of most educated states placed it 16th. All right. In contrast, the U.S. News World Report ranked Illinois 38th overall. So it just depends on who's doing the ranking. But in many cases, they're not at the top. The Heritage Foundation, a conservative, put them at number 32, ranked them at 32. So who knows? Who knows? Nobody can even agree. But nobody put them in the top 5. Nobody put them in the top 10. Nobody put them in the top 15. But one has it in 15. So So in other words, no one has them in the top 14. But hey, this one school in Chicago, they figured it out. They know how to do it. And all their kids love learning. All their kids read. All their kids write well. All their kids speak well. And technology cannot do that because, his school can do it and his teachers can do it because they are the stinking experts. Oh, come on now. That's such garbage. That sounds like a hype piece, a propaganda piece. It sounds like just a piece of promotion. It doesn't sound like it's anything trying to be. I mean, give me some hard statistical evidence and how you draw these conclusions. Typically, kids who read well are because they are kids who simply read. And I don't know if you can give a kid a love for reading. They either get it or they don't. You can expose them to reading. You can provide them books. Are they going to love it? Don't know. There are people who do and there's people who don't. That's just a fact. There's people in Christianity, in the church, who claim to be believers in Jesus, who don't love to read. They don't love to study. You got some people in church who have notebooks. They have pencils. They do outlines. They do this. They do word studies. They do biographical studies, chapter summary methods. They study. And you got others who will never own a notebook, never going to buy a notebook, never going to do anything. Why not? Well, they didn't go to a school in Chicago. If they went to the school in Chicago, they would love to read and they would love to write and they would love. Yeah, give me a break. So guess what? Think of AI as this. Okay, right here I have a book. The Psalms in 30 Days. It just happens to be sitting here. Now, this book has information in it. I can read it. I can meditate on it. I can think about it. But I have to pick it up and I have to use it. I could provide this book, put it in the hands of countless people. I don't know how many books I've bought for people over the years. Back when this podcast had money, we would give away books all the time. I bought people Bible handbooks, Bible dictionaries, reference tools, going way, 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 way back. Early in 2003, 2004, we were giving away all kinds of things. I gave people the information. Now, if I went and tried to find the people I gave the books to and called them now and asked them basic questions about the books, would I even find out that they read them? If they even used them? I bet you the majority did not probably even read them or use them. Some did. I'm not saying all, but many probably just barely touched them, looked at them a few times and just threw them to the side. Now, do I blame the book? Well, the book failed to turn this. It's not the book's fault. Well, guess what? Technology, AI is just like this book. It's right there available, right here on my screen, right here on this iPad. I can move. There it is. ChatGPT 5.0, right? The newest model. Now, it's right here. I could ask it stupid questions. I could just mess around with it, act foolish, act like a junior high boy asking it stupid things. Or I could engage it in meaningful conversation. For example, if I look here, there is a lengthy discussion here with me and AI, probably lasted a few hours, going back and forth about Hebrews 12 and 70 AD. Back and forth, putting forth my hypotheses, asking it to criticize it, challenging it, back and forth, 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 back and forth. But what I do with that is up to me. Kids everywhere have access to books. In most cases, there's probably some kids who don't, but most kids can get to a public library if they wanted to go to one. They most cases could get books if they want them. Guess what? Most kids don't. I mean, even when I was in school, before the evil technology came on the scene, before evil AI took over, most kids walked past the library, did not want to go into the library. I found myself looking for every excuse to get kicked out of class where I'd be sent to the library so I could be there because I wanted to be in the library with books and not with the people in the class and listening to a teacher bore me to death. The books were exciting and interesting, and I could escape to new worlds. When I was very, 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 very little, like because my mom taught me to read before I even got to kindergarten. So as early as kindergarten and first grade, I would walk one block up to North First Street in Abilene, Texas. I lived on Russell Street. I just went down, took a left, walk up a block. There's North First. There was a gas station right there. Right? And so, I can tell you funny stories about the gas station, but I would stand there, the city bus would come by, stop right there at the gas station. I'd get on the bus, go down to, I think, Butternut Street, go under the kind of the overpass, the train tracks were, comes up. I can't remember the street. Was it not Cypress Street? I can't remember the name of the street. It would turn a left and then pull in, and guess where it stopped? Right at the Abilene Public Library. I would get out, go into the Abilene Public Library, and I would spend 5, 6, 7 hours there by myself as a little kid, just looking at any books that I could find that I could read. I did that in first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade, fifth grade. No one told me. I wasn't made to go because I love to read. I'm not saying that makes me smarter. Nobody taught me that. Once I discovered books, I was blown away and I loved it. The end. Didn't make me smarter, definitely didn't give me wisdom, but no person gave that to me. No person made me. My brother was the opposite. He didn't want to read anything. Raised in the exact same home, he didn't want to read anything. He didn't care about reading anything, had no desire to read anything. He never went to the library once as I got older with me. When we would go to the mall, he would go to the arcade, blow all of his money. I would take my money, go to the bookstore, buy a book, go to the record store, buy music, and not waste my money in the arcade. My brother blew it in the arcade, never bought a book, never bought any music. Does that make me smarter than him? No, that's not the point. The point is, a lot of this is the individual and how we're made and how we're different. So AI is right there, and guess what? Some people will utilize it, engage it, have in-depth conversations with it, find ways to say, okay, I want you each day to challenge me on certain specific things related to wisdom. And I want you to, and I want you to give me a daily lesson and trying to impart wisdom, to form wisdom inside of me. In fact, I may try to work with AI to try to formulate a plan and to do that, and I will share that because we're going to turn this into a little series. We're going to go through the rest of the article. I am going to, not right now, but I will share with you me and AI having a back and forth about this article. AI tried to be nice, at least nice to the article to some level, and I kept pushing back. Because I'm like, but wait a minute. I know you're trying to be nice, but humans are trash. And okay, I didn't say that. But it tried to be nice, But it did keep saying that it was that the article was oversimplifying it and misrepresenting. I'm like, well, then be blunt. If it's oversimplifying and misrepresenting, then it's just fraudulent. But AI did point out that the article he makes those claims about what his school can do, and it says it doesn't offer any verifiable data. It just makes anecdotal evidence. Hey, trust me, this is the way it should be done. Oh, of course, right. Because you're right. The only people who love to read, the only people who can speak and write well, the only people who can do this are people who get a classic education. Because, I don't know, my ability to read came from, oh, wait, it didn't even come from the public school system. It came from my mom. Now, she taught me to read in kind of some would say a problematic way. She didn't teach me phonetically. She taught me basically whole language. You see the word, memorize what the word is, and then you're good to go. So that's dog, that's cat. Don't worry about sounding it out. Just remember what the word is. Well, that was great. Now you can still see the problems that it presents me today. If I see something in an article and all of a sudden I don't know how to say the word, I don't really possess the phonetic knowledge to just take a minute, take a deep breath, and sound it out and figure it out in my head. So, but at the same time, I was reading crazy fast at that time. But my mom gave me the basic, hey, this is how I learned to read, but she couldn't make me love it. Right? She did the same thing with my brother. I'm like, oh, wait. These books have words in it. Oh, this is a powerful story. Wait, it's about a boy who never grows up. And wait, he goes to a place called Neverland. And wait, there's lost boys. And who's this girl, Wendy? And wait, he's trying to find his cat. He's chasing his shadow. This is the most awesome book I've ever found. And then I hid the book because I didn't want anyone else to find it in the library. Some people know what that book is, some people don't. And then I was like, well, this is the greatest thing in the world. No matter how bad life is, no matter how, I can go escape in any world I choose. And then I discovered comic books. Oh my goodness. I was like, give me 75,000 of these. Novels, stories. All right, but nobody could do that. And so I think AI can present, AI is there as a tool, just like a book is a tool. I mean, we use tools all the time. And in a roundabout way, what is a teacher? It's just a tool to take information and present it in a way that the student can learn. Now, they can use different teaching methods and different teaching styles, and the personality of the teacher can greatly impact the child's ability to learn or to be more engaged. Same with preaching. You like some preachers and you don't like some preachers. And it may not even have it. They could present the exact same sermon. It's their style. You either like it or you hate it. Well, see, now that comes down to personality. But the teacher is just there to present the information. AI can present the information just as well. In fact, can present it in many cases in a more comprehensive way because it can pull from everything. If I want AI to talk to me about wisdom, AI can pull from the entire known knowledge of wisdom throughout human history. It can pull from every different background, from a Socratic perspective, can cite Proverbs, can cite all the teachings from human wisdom, and it can contrast and compare and challenge, and can do it in seconds. So who can teach wisdom? Who can teach it best? Is there a right way? Can wisdom even be taught? I don't know if it can really be taught. I think facts can be taught. Information can be taught. Principles about what wisdom is or isn't. But that's going to come from a specific perspective, and not everyone's even going to agree on that. All right. I went longer than I wanted to. That's kind of the setup. So we will talk about this more. We will challenge this. And then I think what I may do is I may try to get ChatGPT, and I may go back and forth with ChatGPT to see, okay, give me your first shot at a lesson about wisdom that's designed to help formulate me to become wise. I'm going to have to figure out the prompt to use. See, the key is the better I get at the prompt, the better it will give me. And so the first 17 maybe fail, and maybe in the 18th I finally get it right. And then once we get it right, then okay. But see, that's going to be based on my desire to figure this out. Now, nobody gives me that desire. I want to know if AI can do it. I think it'll be an interesting case study. All right. So what do you think? Are you anti-AI in education? What do you think AI can do in education better than people? What do you think AI can do worse? You say, well, AI makes mistakes, and people don't. Teachers don't. How many factual errors, absolute, just straight up lies have we heard in sermons and we've had to call out? Give me a break. Well, it can't convey wisdom. I don't know. Can people really convey wisdom or just convey ideas that they deem as being wise? That article, he decided this is the right way to think. This is wise, according to him. And his way of thinking is basically be like me, be like my schools, and then you'll be great. And you don't need you don't need technology to get there. You just need me. You just need my school. Or you need this time-tested method. And that method is the time-tested one. All the other methods, I guess, fail. But I think I can find success. Oh, man, we could just go round and round and round on that. All right, I'll stop there because I'm going to go now turn on the Indiana Fever game and probably get frustrated because they're probably getting beat by 757 points since the entire team has been beaten down and injured. And right now they're, walking around Indiana going, hey, can you play basketball? You can't. It's okay. Just join the team. All right. Not that you care about any of that, but there you go. All right, thanks for listening. We'll talk more about this soon. God bless.